Become a person you respect. It's a strange thing to think about, really. Most of the time, we're caught up in trying to meet other people's expectations, trying to fit into their idea of who we should be. We spend so much energy trying to earn their respect, to make them like us, that we forget the one person who we really should be focusing on. Ourselves. For the longest time, I didn't respect myself. I didn't see the point. I thought if I just kept going, if I kept doing the right things, saying the right things, acting the right way, that would be enough. But it wasn't. It's never enough when you're constantly trying to be someone else. You can't build a life on the foundation of someone else's vision of you. And yet, that's what I kept doing. I kept looking outward, trying to measure myself against what others thought of me. I kept getting stuck in this loop of pleasing, of doing what was expected, of giving pieces of myself away in the hope that one day I'd feel good enough, feel worthy enough, feel seen. But somewhere along the way, I realized it doesn't work like that. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't build self-worth on the validation of others. I don't think I truly respected myself until I stopped looking for approval and started looking inward. It's not easy though, because it means taking a hard look at yourself, at the choices you've made, at the things you've done, and the person you've become, and asking, is this who I want to be? The hard truth is, I wasn't always proud of the person I was. There were times when I made decisions I'm not proud of. Times when I let fear guide me instead of my values. Times when I let people walk all over me because I was too scared to stand up for myself. I didn't respect myself then. And you can't change what you don't see. So I had to get real with myself. I had to stop lying, stop pretending that everything was fine, that I was fine, that the way I was living was fine. Because deep down, I knew it wasn't. So I started with the little things. It wasn't some grand epiphany. It wasn't about waking up one day and saying, I'm going to be a completely different person. It was about paying attention to how I felt in my own skin. It was about asking myself, what kind of life do I want? What kind of person do I want to be? Not for anyone else, but for me. Not to impress anyone, but to finally look in the mirror and feel good about who I saw. And that meant making hard choices. It meant letting go of the things, and sometimes even the people, who didn't align with who I wanted to be. It meant saying no when I wanted to say yes, and yes when I wanted to say no. It meant setting boundaries, even if it made me uncomfortable, even if I felt like I was disappointing someone. It meant being honest with myself, even when it was easier to pretend I was fine. And honestly, it hurt. It wasn't some smooth transition where everything just clicked. I stumbled, I fell, I second-guessed myself. But little by little, I started to respect myself more. I started showing up for myself in ways I never had before. The more I paid attention to what truly mattered to me, the more I started making choices that aligned with my values instead of my fears. I began trusting myself, listening to my instincts, standing up for myself in ways I hadn't before. I started to see myself as someone worthy of my own respect. Because here's the thing, if you don't respect yourself, no one else will either. And you can't expect anyone to treat you the way you don't treat yourself. Respecting yourself isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest, being consistent, and showing up for yourself even when it's hard. Becoming someone I respect didn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's an ongoing thing. But it's also been one of the most freeing experiences I've had. Because when you start to respect yourself, when you start to see your own worth, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You're no longer chasing approval or trying to meet some impossible standard. You're living for you. You're acting from a place of confidence, not fear. I'm not saying I have it all figured out. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning how to be the kind of person I respect. But I'm a hell of a lot closer to that person than I was before. And that's something I can be proud of. So yeah, becoming a person you respect, it's hard. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to face the parts of yourself you've been hiding. But it's worth it. Because in the end, the most important person whose respect you need is your own. And when you finally give that to yourself, everything else falls into place.